Are you ready to listen to a podcast?
Here comes the Playhouse Podcast, thanks to Bradshaw and Bryan Law Offices.
Find, subscribe, and listen.
Thank you for being a friend.
Oh, she's classic.
Travel down the road and back again.
That's great.
Your heart is true. You're the pearl and a confidant.
So, you know, the song originally written and sung by a guy named Andrew Gold was just a song.
Yeah.
And it's got extra verses, but we all just knew it because they used it for this.
You won't see the biggest gift will be from me. And the card attached would say, thank you for being a friend.
How old is Cher?
She's in her
forgetting.
70s. She's got to be in her 70s.
Looks phenomenal.
She sounds great, too. You know what I mean? You can tell she's obviously kept it up. She's
75 years old.
Superhuman.
She's not normal. That's amazing.
What's the old joke when the bomb hits? Two things will be left, cockroaches and Cher.
Sure.
You know?
I believe it.
So we thought, all right, this could be kind of a fun thing to do today. How about we highlight your favorite theme song? Now, the obviously the Golden Girls one, even just hearing her version of it,
yeah.
All I saw was the pictures in my head of all the girls smiling and hugging.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you'd seen that opening scene, the credits so often. So what in your head immediately goes, that's my favorite theme song?
I remember this would like pump out of our family room downstairs, and I'd want to skip a few, and I'd try to get down there as fast as I could so I could make it in time. Step by step.
Oh, this was Suzanne
is
Summers,
lost.
right?
Yeah. Patrick Duffy. Pay the cost you want. Will there ever be a second time around? Oh my God.
I don't think I watched this probably once.
Then you got Goofy Cody walks in.
Was that
Smart Dana.
Kathy Lee Gifford's kid?
What?
Is he in this? The Kathy Lee Gifford's kid? Were there those?
Oh, I don't know.
The twin boys, were they in this?
I don't know.
Who's that? I love her voice.
Oh my God. This just brings back so many good memories. We'd get off the school bus and I would yell "longside." Like the first person to yell "longside" got the long side of the couch.
Oh, yeah.
It was like the chaise lounge part. And like if you didn't yell it, then you didn't get it. And then we'd run down and watch Step by Step, and it was my favorite.
Brian texted in right away.
Oh, yeah. The first couple of notes, you're like, I gotta go check this out.
Paige said, I know it's a movie, but the Harry Potter song.
The theme song, isn't it just music? It's like ominous music.
What is it?
Stability, the milkman, the paper boy, evening.
Now, when you said you wanted to do this, one popped into my head right away, and it was actually a song, a full-length song, kind of like that was written for a television show that ended up being a hit on the radio.
This wasn't written for Dukes of Hazzard?
It was. He wrote it specifically for the show, and then ended up being a hit on the radio. Waylon Jennings.
Ooh, 5527. Call in, and I promise you we will play that. That's one of my favorites.
Another one that just kind of came in, and this one is long lost because they don't make them like this anymore. If you remember these notes.
Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days.
Grab your comb out of your back pocket.
The weekend comes, my cycle hums.
What I love most that came out of Happy Days is that Henry Winkler has written or produced almost everything your eyes have seen.
I know.
Since 1970. And the guy, like if you've ever watched like Arrested Development, super funny in that. He's in The Water Boy. I mean, the guy has done everything, including being the coolest guy on the planet.
I know.
As Fonzie. So let's get into more of these. What was your favorite theme song growing up? This is so much fun. Now, we heard Cher's rendition of Thank You for Being a Friend.
Can you play that again?
Yeah.
It's so good.
Thank you for being a friend.
The Betty White celebration.
You travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pearl and a confidant. And if you threw a party,
She's great.
Oh my God, chills.
everyone you knew, you would see the biggest gift would be from me, and the card attached would say, thank you for being a friend.
Oh, that's so awesome.
So
lot of people are trying to guess mine. Kat, we know that hers is Step by Step with Patrick Duffy was the
and
dad,
Summers.
right? And a lot of people are saying yours has got to be The Office. I won't say it's my favorite, but I'll tell you this. Just by hearing the Office theme song, I instantly have endorphins pop and I feel better.
It's a good feel.
Oh, my God. Like, if I'm ever depressed and I hear that, all of a sudden, if I'm flipping channels, I just instantly get happy. How about this one? Does this one make you feel good? Al Bundy, baby! No?
That show wasn't, like, my eyes didn't like that show. I don't know why. The aesthetics of their decor, I didn't like it.
Horrible.
Yeah.
This is Frank Sinatra, right?
And then just her, like, walking and trying to please him, and then she's got, like, her puppy arms out, you know, and I'm just like,
it was all
he
such
doesn't
a
love
good
you.
Act. Peter, tell me about the favorite theme song here, buddy.
It's kind of like children. You can't play favorites. I'd say when I was growing up as a kid, I like Fraggle Rock or like maybe even the Red Green Show.
Fraggle Rock.
Man.
Oh, my God.
Good memory.
That's funny.
Fraggle, what? Did I win? Was that yours?
No, but I just would have never thought about that because wasn't it like an HBO thing? Like you had to have Prime cable at that time?
It was a Jim Henson production.
We couldn't afford Prime cable. It was whatever, I don't know, channel 2, 4, 5, 9, whatever we were getting. Dad had to get up really early for work. He was on at like 5 in the morning, 5:30 in the morning. So I'd sit my butt right in front of the TV in the kitchen eating Apple Jacks, watching that show. And then it went from there to, like, I don't know, something else that I really wasn't big into, but something else was on before I went back to bed. But anyway, then it would have been like the Red Green Show, kind of whatever in the 90s.
Show. That guy was such a dunce.
Well, whatever. I liked it. And then growing up as getting older, maybe MASH or Hogan's Heroes.
MASH, right? Hogan's Heroes, not bad. Somebody texted in, JJ, this has got to be yours.
Well, we're moving on now.
No, but he does listen to this before the show sometimes.
The Jeffersons was one of the most finely written shows in the history of the world. Nicole, tell me about it. Which is your favorite?
Gilligan's Island.
Oh, that's a good one.
Now, Nicole, if you and Kat and I went on a 6-hour tour, it's a 3-hour tour. 3-hour tour.
But they packed for 6 months. How did they know that?
But I think the most important question here, Nicole, is who would be, out of the three of us, who would be Gilligan?
Cat.
Yeah, that's the right answer.
So Gilligan basically did everything for everybody. So
No.
I'll take
Gilligan,
that.
well, he screwed everything up. There was several chances for them to get off the island, but he screwed it up every time.
Guess who I'm going to eat first? Because
now, Nicole, who are you then? Are you Mary Ann? Are you the skipper? Are you Ginger?
No, I'm the billionaire's wife.
You're Mrs. Howell. All right, you're Lovey Howell. I like
love
that.
it.
And then who am I? Probably the professor because he's the smartest.
Maybe.
See,
think you're in charge of everything.
Too early? I feel like you're a little delusional already.
He thinks he's in charge of everything, but not really.
She's been on that island for a long time. Here's mine, guys. Do you have this queued up?
I do.
This is mine. If you remember this, then you're as old as I am.
Well, I'm not the kind to kiss and tell, but I've been seen with fire up.
Give me a year.
This had to be
Anything less than a 9. So
late 70s, early 80s, maybe. It's the Fall Guy.
With a girl named Bo. But somehow they just
Sounds like he was always in a pickle.
Well, here was the deal. The guy was a stunt guy in TV and movies.
Okay.
And so he never got like all the good-looking leading men got all the accolades, but he was the one in there getting bruised and stuff like that. But then he was kind of like, I think he was kind of a cop on the side. But I just remember he had this kick-ass truck. And then you got to here's the refrain. And this is Lee Majors, and he sang the song for the show.
I might fall from a tall building. I might roll a brand new car.
Look at your face.
The unknown stunt man.
Ooh, who's that hottie?
That's him. That was Lee Majors. He was the $6 Million Man back in the day.
Oh.
So that was the coolest thing about that is that he was the star of the TV show.
Yeah.
And the dude wrote the song.
That's why it's awesome.
Guys, this is a pretty awesome situation.
Sure.
You're not rolling with me.
No, I think there are plenty of other great ones. Cheers was like by far the most popular text that came in, followed by Wonder Years.
Radio Paparazzi.
So Janet Jackson is a 4-part Lifetime documentary series out, and I watched a little bit of the earlier part of it, and later on they get to her talking about Nipplegate at the Super Bowl, and everyone has always been like, Justin, why didn't you come out and really stick up for Janet? And here's why.
We talked once. And he said, I don't know if I should come out and make a statement and this and that, or say something and have something to say. And I said, listen, I don't want any drama for you. They're aiming all of this at me. So I said, if I were you, I wouldn't say anything.
No. Look at that strong woman. It's like, listen, I'll fall on that sword. We'll figure it out. You go on with your career. It didn't really hurt her career. You know what I mean? It's Janet Jackson. People were going to sell out her tour, and then she got pregnant.
The fallout in broadcast, though, was crazy as far as censorship and delays went and everything like that.
We did hear a new song from her. This is so exciting that she's putting out new music, but it does sound like the same old Janet, which I love. It's called Love I Love. Totally 90s. There you go. Not bad. I don't hate it. All right, Elton John, what he does hate, though, is denim. He's wishing it all goes away.
I used to wear denim in the early 70s, and I absolutely loathe denim now. I think every piece of denim in the world should be burnt. I loathe it. I detest it. Cancel it.
There you go. Cancel out denim. I don't think so. Tell that to a Canadian.
Here's my...
What are they going to wear?
My problem is... sweatpants are too cold right now.
Yeah.
It's 33 degrees below zero most mornings when we walk in here. I don't need that. No. I got to have me some denim.
All right. Paris Hilton, she was on with Drew Barrymore, and she was talking about how she's recently taken up the art world.
Well, I've loved art my whole life. My grandmother taught me how to paint, and I've just during quarantine, it was finally when I wasn't traveling, I wasn't running around, everywhere. I was at home, and I made a whole art room, and I was painting and doing a lot of things for charity, and then now doing digital art, and it's just been incredible.
I feel like we're getting punked.
No.
Paris Hilton is into art.
She's moving on with her life. She's married. She wants babies. I feel like she did it all right. I feel like joke's on us, right? Like she made so much money being a DJ, doing her until she's 40, and then
What's the
now
name of that show with Nicole Richie?
Simple Life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oofed.
Funny stuff.
I don't think they were aiming at comedy.
I think they were.
I don't think so.
Blowing out their candles today, we have FGL's Tyler Hubbard turning 35. Justin Timberlake is 41. And Kerry Washington, we've had her on the show. She was amazing, 45 today.
If you know anyone who's continuing their education, it doesn't matter what level it is at. If you are moving on to become more educated, whether it's for a trade, you're going away to Harvard or Yale, or the Harvard of Minnesota, Gustavus Adolphus.
Or St. Cloud Community Technical College.
It doesn't matter where you're going. If you are going to continue your education, we've teamed up again this year with Deerwood Bank, and we're going to give out another $2,500 scholarship. But the entry deadline is this Friday, because 1 week from today, we are going to be calling somebody and giving them $2,500 to use towards their education. Doesn't matter how. You can use it for gas if you're commuting. You can use it for room and board. You can use it for books. You can use it for tuition. We just want to know how you're going to help change the world, and you got to do it in 104 words or less.
Always my favorite part of this job, where we can make those phone calls, and thanks to Deerwood Bank, we get to feel like we're giving some of that money too, and helping someone. This is Will, and he goes to Apollo High School. And he says, I would love to go to college and get a degree in early education. I was in foster care in elementary school, and I remember how my teachers almost felt like family. They looked out for me. My fourth grade teacher always made sure that I had eaten that day and had shoes for gym. I want to be that for kids out there that might be in the same position. Please pick me, and I promise to change the world for many kids. Will, you're going to do it anyway.
Awesome, dude.
So he wrote over the weekend, as did dozens of other students. So good luck.
If you know of someone who's a senior in high school or an adult just continuing their education, maybe you decided to have your family and now you want to be a doctor, you want to be a nurse, you want to go to truck driving school. Doesn't matter. As long as there is education in your future, we'd like to help pay for part of it.
All right, so I think that every parent should find at least one thing that you can brag about your kid. Like, it's okay. You made this child. They're phenomenal in some way. Maybe they can build the biggest Lego pirate ship. Maybe they can run the fastest mile in school. I don't know. But Drake's 4-year-old son is making headlines today. His name is Adonis, and he was teaching Drake how to speak French.
Grand, très grand. Tu vas mourir. Tu vas retourner à l'univers. Okay, what did you say? I said, when you're older, you're all broken. And you're gonna turn back into space.
Okay, so it didn't make one lick of sense.
Didn't have to. He's bilingual and he's 4 years old.
He's 4. He knew how to at least say something. But 4-year-olds say nonsensical things anyway. But he said it in French. How phenomenal! So I want to take this time, oui, to highlight your child and why they're so phenomenal. If you want to be sarcastic with it, you can.
Well, why don't you start? Why don't you give us an example? What would you say is phenomenal about young Liam?
I would
you only
say,
get to have one thing.
Yep, my child is phenomenal in the sense that anything that he is interested in, it is 100% his passion. And I got to remind myself of that because I was speaking to some moms that have older kids. And I'm like, I have this conversation. Sometimes he gets so passionate in basketball that he'll cry, like he'll just get like, come on, man, let's go. Or like he's upset at himself because he didn't make the right pass or the play or whatever. And I'm like, dude, you cannot cry in sports anymore. Come on, unless I see a bone. And then I'm like,
well, I'll tell you this much. I have a 14-year-old hockey player.
Yeah.
And there's still kids on his team that cry, even after a win.
Yeah. Well, these moms were like, listen, this is 4th grade. Every child goes through that. And it's a good sign of passion. It's like it's not like, well, they didn't throw me the ball. He's more upset at himself because he does work really hard.
Yeah, you'll find a way to harness that.
Yeah. And so that's one thing that I don't mind paying for sports, and I don't mind volunteering my time to help assistant coach because I know that he's taking it seriously. So that's why my kid is phenomenal.
Yeah, I would have been along the same lines with a lot of that. Now that my kids are a little bit older, I'll tell you what's phenomenal about them is when my wife got her cancer diagnosis, they all dropped everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They all dropped everything and became very caring human beings.
Yeah.
And you sometimes see the worst in your kids because you want to fix their inadequacies. Whatever it is. It's this or that, or it's sports or athletics or whatever. But when everything is going to be written and they're going to leave a legacy, you want to have that legacy left of they're a good person. And when the really hits the fan and everything is disrupted, to see that good people exist and they're your people is really pretty cool. So that's what I'm going to hang my hat on for. I want to know, and off of Drake's kid, and somebody was like, doesn't Drake come from the, upper echelon of Canadian people? Yeah, but I'm telling you what, our show was on in Canada for 10 years. We didn't speak a lick of French.
No.
There's a lot of people, especially if you're not in like old school Montreal, that don't speak French at all.
Lexi texted, my 12-year-old daughter is phenomenal. She'll make my morning cup of coffee while I'm getting ready for work before she leaves for the bus. Lexi, that's
awesome.
Very, very thoughtful.
So what's the one really cool thing that you'd like to brag up about your child? It doesn't necessarily have to be an accomplishment. It can just be like that. Yeah, my daughter is so cool. She'll make me a cup of coffee before I head out to work.
But that just says so much about her daughter. She's just like not one of those jerk tweens, She's very thoughtful.
Everything.
Yeah. I like that.
Every day, our listeners surprise us in one way or another.
Seems like every time we do this bit, then we get even more calls or voicemails on our answering machine. And it's like, oh my God, people have problems.
I think we've all done something incredibly stupid after a night of having fun with our friends at the bar. Then I think we've also all done really dopey things as kids. Now we got to decipher whether or not this was a drunk adult or little kid moment. Deb, you get the honors of starting the round this week. Give us the scenario, and then we're going to try and figure out whether you did this as a drunk adult or a little kid. So don't tell us up front. Just tell us what happened, please.
I tripped a nun, causing her to go to the hospital.
Oh.
She what?
Tripped a nun.
Tripped a nun. Okay.
And the nun had to go to the hospital. Was that a drunk adult or little kid moment, Kat?
Being one that was raised in a private school surrounded by nuns, I would say a little kid.
I would say little kid as well, because if you find yourself as a drunk adult around nuns, then I need to hear a little bit more about this. Deb, drunk adult or little kid?
So when I was a little kid in church, I couldn't help but keep myself still. So my parents were just getting so upset and mad at me because I was just getting up and roaming around all over the service.
Okay.
And I accidentally tripped our church's most beloved nun, Sister Beatrice. And she actually had to go to the hospital, and she was in her late 80s, but luckily she's totally fine now, and she bounced back. So thank God for that. And she forgave me.
Sisters tripping.
There you go.
I love it. All right, Will, you're up next. Tell us about it. Again, don't tell us what happened, or tell us what happened, but don't tell us whether or not it was a drunk adult or a little kid moment. Just kind of paraphrase the generic scenario here.
I belly flopped on a jellyfish.
Oh, okay.
All
belly
right.
flopped on a jellyfish, Cat.
I am going to say little kid.
I'm going to go drunk adult on this one.
All right.
Belly fish, belly flop, belly flop, jellyfish. Drunk adult or little kid, Will?
I was a drunk adult. I was at Juno Beach partying with my friend. One of the girls we were with accidentally stepped on a jellyfish.
Oh.
She started to freak out, so I wanted to make her feel like she wasn't alone, and I decided to belly flop on that jellyfish.
Oh, my God.
You know, in solidarity.
Yeah.
It hurt like hell, but I was drunk, so I didn't care.
Right.
But the cool part of the story is that we've actually been a couple ever since that moment.
Oh, look at that.
Look at
Nothing
that.
brings people together more than jellyfish stings. Well done. I like that. Now, I got two more for you, and I want to do them next. But I want to preface that when we bring Mitch on the show next, his drunk adult or little kid moment had to do with a soccer mom choking him.
Oh, man.
Drunk adult or little kid, one of our favorite games here in the Playhouse. You tell us what happened, and we've got to try and figure out whether it happened to you as a drunk adult or little kid. Mitch, I appreciate your patience. All I know is this had to do with a soccer mom. So what happened here, bud?
I got choked up by a drunk soccer mom.
Fair enough. All right, I appreciate you keeping it simple and easy for us. So Mitch got choked out by a drunk soccer mom. Kat, did that happen when Mitch was a little kid or a drunk adult?
I'm going to say maybe he was a little kid and he picked on her kid and she brought a little White Claw to the game. So little kid.
I'm going to go drunk adult on this one.
Okay.
Mitch, drunk adult or little kid?
I was a drunk adult.
Hey.
My daughter used to play in the youth soccer league where many of the parents would drink and get really hammered.
No.
I thought one of the players on the field was playing a little rough, a little dirty, and I said something about it. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I suddenly felt these two hands just come around my neck and start choking me. Everyone was so drunk that nobody noticed at first. Finally, the police were called out, but no one was arrested.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Not one person in that scenario is justified. Like, I can't believe you would get so hammered.
It does. It happens more. Like, coaching as long as I have, I will tell you, especially when it gets to the middle of the summer, the June, July games, when you have a baseball tournament, and you see some of these dads, 3/4 the way down the right field line, and they're just hanging out. And if you see a cooler present, more than... And especially now that you can put them in like a thermos, they'll mix drinks beforehand, so it looks like they're just drinking water or something like that. They're not right out there with a bottle of beer.
Sure.
But they're boozing hard.
Listen, if you're gonna do that, I mean, don't get out of hand, and then you just give yourself away and you ruin it for the bunch.
It happens. I got one more, and her name is Gail. So before you let us guess, just tell us what happened, and we're going to guess drunk adults or little kid. What do you got for us, Gail?
I accidentally ironed my face and had to go to the ER.
Okay, I think I know where this one's coming from. She ironed her face and had to go to the ER as a drunk adult or little kid.
Okay, I'm going little kid. I got to be right. I got to be right.
Drunk adult on this one. Gail, drunk adult or little kid?
Let's just say I was a really drunk adult.
Yeah.
I used to live in Colorado, and it gets really cold there.
Yeah.
So one night, our heater was broken, and I decided it was a good idea to grab a hot iron and try to heat up my face by ironing it.
Yeah.
I ended up in the ER.
Oh, my God. I feel like I have done dumb things when I was drunk, but then we play this game. I feel really good about myself.
So weird.
Weird stuff.
Everybody called me weird. I am weird.
You don't think this is a little weird?
No, I don't think it's weird at all.
Weird news.
Now it's like, let's eat, Grandpa. Let's eat, Grandpa. You got to watch out where you put the comma. And a Florida woman found that out the hard way. She's in huge financial trouble after accidentally paying $43,000 towards her credit card bill instead of $430.
I can't even go to the store. I can't buy milk. I can't pay for my husband's medication. I feel violated. They have our savings. They have all of our money in checking. They have our Social Security checks for this month.
Whoa.
It's so weird that it couldn't just be a phone call, right?
Yeah, I think it's odd that they can't reverse that, right? Everything's so digital and quick. I think it's always amazing when companies can take your money so quickly.
Yeah.
But then when they have to return it, it takes months.
No doubt. I am waiting for something right now. So, yeah, hopefully she can accrue that money back. That's crazy. And that is what's weird. Okay, so this is my life. This is my mother-in-law. She mispronounces everything. And this word specifically, along with another one, which I don't know if I can say. But here, this is a woman mispronounces ibuprofen her entire life.
I literally only just found out that it's pronounced ibuprofen. I think. I still don't know. But I know it's definitely not pronounced how my parents taught me. I've been calling it ibuprofen for 19 years.
Is there any ibuprofen behind the counter? My mother-in-law pronounces it ibuprofen. Like she, as she gets older and Derek is starting to do it, he's starting to mispronounce his words. And then Neosporin, she calls Neospur. And I'm like, oh my God, don't say that.
She said vagina.
No.
That's Cardi B.
That's probably a minute off. Every year it's a new mispronounced word, but it's funny. It's what makes her her. So I want to know what word out there can you just not pronounce? I feel like I can pronounce most words, but it's the community is really hard for me. Community. But when it comes to spelling, I can't spell vacuum to save my. If Liam's life was on the line, and they said spell vacuum, or completely, or definitely, I'm just I really.
We're all dumber because of spell check. That's
for sure.
For sure. Thing.
Yeah. So what word do you constantly mispronounce? Go ahead and send it to us. Text it because ibuprofen is what's trending. A reporter from WCVB-TV in Boston he was on the scene. And sometimes we watch the news oh, here she is. Shay is out in the cold. Okay. And sometimes you just draw the short straw when it comes to being out in a blizzard. But you're gifted with two men that are just randomly walking by.
We just lost cable a little while ago, so that's why we went for a walk. How long have you lived here for? 20 years. Where does this rank in terms of storms? This was a pretty good one. Top 5. Have you heard the news about Tom Brady? Yes. Not great. I don't know. Is Gronk next then, I guess? Where are you guys trying to go right now? We're trying to find an open Dunkin' Donuts.
But listen, if you think we have it bad, the East Coast has it bad.
Batter?
More batter. The weather that comes through there, they have to deal with the ocean too. I looked at
we get 10 snowstorms.
Nantucket is under frozen water. Yeah. That is horrible. But anyway, talking about Tom Brady, that was the buzz this weekend, retiring after 22 seasons. However, he has not come out and said anything.
Here's the deal. If he does say anything before this coming weekend, he loses $15 million if he retires. So that's why you're not going to hear anything until about a week from today.
Yeah.
And then you'll hear the retirement. He's obviously going to retire, but if he officially declares retirement, he'll lose $15 million.
Well, the pizza pub where I was at yesterday, it was all a buzz. So we were watching the LA Rams set to face off Cincinnati Bengals in Super Bowl 2022. Last night, Brandy sang the Star Spangled Banner. I'm like, who is her agent? And they need a raise for getting her.
That our flag was still there.
She's been arrested for 20 years.
Yeah.
Oh, say does that Star Spangled Banner yet wave?
They go wild.
Nice.
For the land of the free.
She still got it.
She does. Moesha. You heard that little raspy brandy that we were used to. And she looked phenomenal. It was like she has been in a cryo chamber for 2 decades. It was crazy. But who would you pick for the Super Bowl if we got to pick who sang the Star Spangled Banner? Obviously, nobody matches up to My Whitney, but we got to.
I'm telling you, after hearing what Cher did with the Golden Girls theme song, I would be into having Cher sing the Star Spangled Banner. Who's really doing it? Do we know?
I have no idea.
I mean, everybody's been talking about the Super Bowl halftime show with Dre and Snoop and Mary J and Eminem, but I wonder if it's got to be. It's not like Carrie Underwood doesn't get to sing this, does she?
No, I don't know. But you know who I would pick? Either Casey Musgraves or Ariana. I think that
Ariana Grande would kill it.
Why didn't I pay attention in typing keyboard class? I'm horrible.
You didn't think you'd have to do it while you were live on the radio.
Yeah, they don't have anybody listed for it. So
they got it.
I want you to text in who you would love to see sing the Star Spangled Banner, because I tell you, that is the reason why I go to sporting events. Yeah, it's fun to watch the game, grab a beer, grab a hot dog, but I love standing up and looking at the flag and then the flyover and the pomp and circumstance. It's my favorite. So text in who you would love to hear sing the Star Spangled Banner at this year's big game.
All right, let's get after it. Monday vibes are popping in the Playhouse. Welcome in after a little extended vacation for both of us. Back on the grind. How we living?
Good. I had a really good 4 days off. The last 2 days filled with basketball. I want to give a shout out to Princeton's Pizza Pub, by the way. They were phenomenal. I called at 11 to let them know that 35 of us were going to be in at 3. And then I let them know 25 minutes before we left. And they had everything ready. Not one order was wrong.
Nice.
And then I love when players come in with jerseys, because that's what they put it under, jersey 30, you get this. And they gave me just this massive cider. It was half of the length of my torso. It was incredible. And so I had that. Had a good buzz going on a Sunday, which has been very rare. And then I went to Daylily on Thursday, got my Aveda spa in, and then met Allie for brunch. It was good. Good 4 days.
You're living the best life of somebody who would not have a job.
On Friday, I was like, this is what it's like. I got up, I got Liam ready. I made him an omelet before school. And then I brought him to school and he gave me a kiss. And I'm like, this is it. This is what it's like. But I like this life too.
Mine was the exact opposite. I took the kids to school on Thursday and Friday, but then I went home and it was just working on projects.
Yeah.
And Trish was in the hospital this last week. And so I was craving human interaction.
You were?
Oh, my God. I was stir crazy.
You hate humans. What?
I like humans that I like.
Oh, okay.
I think you need to understand there's a select few. There's 30 humans that I can tolerate.
Were you missing me?
No, you maybe a little.
Okay.
But I was missing. I genuinely missed our audience so bad.
Yeah.
The interaction we get in the morning. There's this high level of interacting with people from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. that we have. And then our lives go back to what I would consider normal people lives. I didn't have that for those 2 days.
Yeah.
And I texted old college friends. I FaceTimed other people that I haven't talked to in a long time.
You were that person.
Because here's what I did. I cleaned the entire house.
Yeah.
Spick and span. And then my wife goes, by the way, our cleaner comes Monday. I'm like, oh, damn it. All right. So I did a couple of home projects. I went to home improvement stores 15 times.
Yeah.
Got skates sharpened. I was running errands like a madman. But then I got home and it was just me and the dog.
Okay.
And the dog's looking at me like, what are you doing here during this time? And I was bored. I missed people. It was very, very odd. So I want you to think about this. When you look at young Liam and say, hey, I thought you were supposed to take out the garbage. And he clearly didn't. What's his go-to excuse?
You know what? He has always been open and honest about his shortcomings in remembering stuff. And he'll just say, oh, sorry. And then he'll just go do it.
Oh, my God. You have the model child.
He's pretty amazing. He's always been the first to apologize for things. He'll give hugs and then we just move on. That's what you do in life. You don't sit there and dwell on it. Look at you. You love dwelling. And so I'm just
it's so different. I'll tell my 13-year-old, my 14-year-old, whatever. I'll go, hey, Nolan, you were supposed to take the garbage out last night. Well, you didn't say that. You mean I said it? So here's always the deal.
That's gaslighting.
I'll stand in a sporting goods store with the $500 bat he begged to have last summer.
Yeah.
He goes, well, I have $50 worth of gift cards, so let's get this. But no, I'm still out $450. Okay, well, what do I have to do? Well, how about you? Take out the garbage. Friday is our garbage day.
Yeah.
I need all the garbage out on the street and collected in the house. All the garbages.
Yeah.
Before Friday morning when I go to work. No problem. I'll do it for a year. No problem.
So he agreed to a year.
Not once. Hey, Nolan. Garbage outside? Oh, you never said I had to. I remember standing in the sporting goods store with a $500 bat in your hand, begging me for... Well, you didn't say this week. Like, he is that... He's a loophole. And it's like watching a freaking home movie.
You got to get stuff in writing with that kid.
Now, when I talk to him, I video it on my phone.
You do?
I run a video. I go, Nolan, are you going to get the garbage tonight? He'll go, yeah. And I go, all right, I have video of it. You have to do this. But if your kids are giving you these crap excuses, they're learning it from you, by the way. And all the research says... And I'm going to give you the top 2 excuses we're using to not get stuff done, whether it's in your personal life or your work life. And all these people are texting in, Dominique, my son says his brain forgot.
Yeah.
Good. That's a good sense of humor. I like that one. 6881 says, if I don't meet a deadline at work, it's obviously due to procrastination, but I use the I forgot or I got busy with something else excuse.
Like honest. That's honesty. You're not making up that somebody went to the hospital or that you got into a car accident and you couldn't do it.
I forgot is honorable mention. That is number 3 on the list of excuses we use as adults that our kids are learning. Number 2, it's too cold.
It's too cold to do work inside?
More important things, apparently, when it's warmer, get through. And the number 1 excuse we use to get out of stuff, what do you think it is?
The number 1 excuse, probably I was just too busy.
I'm too tired.
Too tired.
Oh, my God. Now, I don't know where you work, but I'm telling you this much. If something didn't get done around here and you came with the lame-ass excuse of, I'm too tired, it wouldn't work.
You know, my excuse. When do I ever use excuses? If you're like, did this get done? And if I forgot, then I just say, sorry, on it. I'm on it, Rose.
I think it's a little bit more tolerable here because everybody's doing 19 jobs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the way our business has become so consolidated that it used to be you would just do the morning show.
Yeah.
Now you're doing the morning show and you're doing this and you're doing this and the podcast and this and this and this and this. And everybody's got, 50 jobs around here. So something slipping off the radar, it obviously doesn't, sink the whole ship, but you're like, all right, let's find a way to make it not happen again.
What I do understand is like people are human and stuff might have just slipped through the cracks, but the people that do it week after week after week and it's the same excuse, that's when I have a hard time with
If you're
it.
14 and you live a super privileged life and you live in my house and you've never really had to work for a thing in your life, and then the one thing we ask you to work for slipped your mind.
Yep. Nolan.
See that little vein on the side of my head? If you pushed on it right now, I'd pass out.
Radio Paparazzi.
All right, so Christina, are we getting Xtina? Are we getting Christina Aguilera? We have new music coming from her, and this is going to be the release of 3. This is her first of 3 EPs that she has coming out in all Spanish, which is exciting.
I got to go to Miami
to that accent.
Finally dive in the way I wanted to. Because I wasn't just going to do it and receive songs and be done. Like, I wanted to go and engross myself in it and make it feel like a family. I took my family down to Miami where we stayed there for a month and I really sat in the studio with writers and incredible musicians and songwriters, and it's a time where I truly fell in love with music all over again.
Love it.
It's so funny when somebody spends that much time with someone that speaks a certain way, like Madonna, you know how she turned English and was very proper, but you can hear that Miami accent. All right, so Adele is saying that her mom, which every mom should be, your best friend, somebody that no one will ever look out for you like your mom will, and that's why it's her favorite person.
Probably when she moved back in with me when I was 21. I was really falling apart, and she lovingly put me back together.
She moved in with you.
That's what happens. Like, if you need help, we're there to help you. So lean on your mom. Taylor Lautner from Twilight fame is being called a narcissist for getting engaged to another Taylor.
Love at first sight is such like a tough thing that I can't quite figure out. But I knew when I first met her that I wanted to get to know her more, and I really, really could see a future with her.
I think you should try and marry somebody with the same last name. You don't have to change your driver's license. Passports are still good.
No, first name.
Oh.
Taylor and Taylor.
Oh, I thought he was saying Lautner. Oh, well, then forget it. That
He was
doesn't
marrying
make any
another
sense.
Taylor Lautner? No.
I thought he was marrying like Stephanie Lautner or something like that.
I had a Dan and Danielle. They got married that I went to high school with. I always thought that was really weird. Wonder how many other couples are like that.
There was a Steven and Stephanie. That could be weird,
Steven
too.
and Stephanie, that's my cousin. Those are my cousins.
Really?
Yeah. Steven, Stephanie Stodden. Try saying that 5 times fast. Or finding them on Facebook. Blowing up the candles today. Kerry Washington is 45. Portia de Rossi is 49. And Minnie Driver, I've been told I look like her on a good day.
By Stevie Wonder.
52 today.
Crazy, yeah, when we had Stevie on the show, and he's like, I think you look so much like Minnie Driver. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you're so right, Mr. Wonder.
I forgot that interview.
Now, another shower thought with JJ.
If the earth was flat, then what would stop someone from drilling a hole in the ocean floor and draining all the water out?
Oh my God. I really hope it's not. Good thought.
At no point were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
I never even thought about that.
Thank you.
That was another shower thought in the Playhouse.
I want to take you back, Kat, to the time that you had a house guest named Molly.
Yes.
I knew you would giggle at this.
Okay.
For those of you that have been, rolling with our show for a while, Molly started as, I think, when she was a sophomore in college as our intern, just kind of making coffee and answering phones, then became part of our show, ended up having her own show on the radio station. I mean, she was a great talent around here, and then ended up moving with her man to Duluth, had a baby, 3-4 months ago?
Yes.
Maybe 5 months ago?
Oh, how life has changed.
Now, Molly was a house guest for me for a brief moment. My wife was out of state, and I needed somebody to get my kids at the time on the bus. And so what she did is, instead of coming in for our internship, she came to my house at 4 o'clock in the morning, slept on my couch until my kids woke her up, and then made sure that they got to school on time, which was great. And I was thankful, and we compensated her well until I found out she ate all my orange chicken leftovers.
That was, I have not seen you so angry.
I raged so hard. All right. Now, I remember.
That's part of babysitting, though. You get free reign for all the food.
Not on my orange chicken.
Anywhere in the house.
Do you remember her being a house guest for you and any issues you had with her? What would have been the number one issue you had with the last house guest you had?
I literally forgot she was there. She was so quiet. She had her own bedroom, bathroom downstairs. She had, full use of the laundry facilities.
You ever had a really bad house guest, family, friend?
I would say probably my sister roomed with me for a week. And that was when she wanted to come up here and be all independent. And then I got her this job, and she was only here for 24 hours and made me hand the key in. But she got with one of our coworkers in my apartment. I didn't find out until we moved the couch when I was moving. Saw a little wrapper.
The leftovers.
Yeah.
Well, you can go from good house guest to really bad house guest in about 2 seconds. There's this story that's hitting the news about a guy in Jersey who was hanging out with a buddy, decided to cook up some potatoes in a frying pan.
Okay.
See where this is going yet? It was about midnight. Looks like they had been drinking. But the guy offered to share and asked his friend if he wanted any of his potatoes, which was very nice of him.
Yeah.
His friend declined, and for whatever reason, the guy did not take rejection very well. When his friend said no, this dude flipped out, threw hot oil in the guy's face, and started beating him over the head with a frying pan like in a cartoon.
Oh my God. So he was upset that guy didn't want to eat any of his potatoes?
He hit him so hard, the handle of the pan broke off. But thankfully, it sounds like the guy is going to be okay. Doctors treated him for burns and a significant head injury.
Wow.
But he was alert enough to explain what had happened to the cops. Potato guy ran off before the cops got there. Didn't get far because he forgot to put shoes on.
Yeah.
So apparently he stopped halfway through the parking lot with sore feet. A bunch of charges, including reckless endangerment and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon.
You really got to be careful of who you let under your roof. What do they say? Like house guests and fish are the same? They both stink in 3 days? Isn't that the saying?
I don't.
You've never heard that?
Never once.
House guests and fish are good for about 3 days and then they start to stink. You'll use it. It's sweet. You'll like it.
I'm trying to remember it, but I've never heard that before.
So my friend is getting divorced, and I really hope that it goes nice and smoothly for her. She has been dealing with a lot of health issues as well. So there you go. For better or for worse, for sickness and in health, they have one daughter. And by the end of this week, they will hopefully have everything signed, and they're meeting up with a mediator.
Does it seem like they're being civil about it?
So far, but she's so sad about it because it was mostly his decision. So I don't know if he has a side piece. I don't know if he's mentally moved on with somebody else. I have no idea. But so people, our friends, are offering her advice. We have a friend, Sarah, who's like super, like a man hater, and she has gone through 2 divorces. And so she has just been...
Because she's scarred, everyone else should be?
Yeah, sadly, she's been not giving great advice as to how to get over this divorce. But this is singer Carly Pearce from the country world. And she actually found like songwriting to be very therapeutic.
I could have acted like it never happened, but that's not realistic, and that's not how I can process things. And so I went 100% because I didn't want to give it half. And it opened me up so much to who I am. And I am more confident in myself. I thought I was confident before that, but walking through something hard like that, and especially in the public eye, I gained so much strength that I feel like you can hear in the music.
So she wrote her entire album and that was the therapy?
Maybe you're not a singer-songwriter. That's okay. Maybe you just need to put pen to paper in a journal. Maybe that'll help. Maybe you do need to get therapy. Maybe you just need to go to the spa.
A lot of dudes just gym time it up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They'll cut their diet in half and quit drinking for 3 months and hit the gym.
That would be a great advice. I think getting your body back, if it's not in the shape you'd like.
Here's the deal. It's a process. It just doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then when you start seeing results, then you've got something to fuel the next amount of results. And I think that's what, at least the friends that I've had that have gone through divorces, they seem like they just started gymming up, or they were like, hey, I'm going to start, running again. I'm going to start watching my diet again. There was something about that seems like, it's progress.
Yeah. Well, I feel like Terry needs to call in because that had to have happened to you, where that's the route you went to get over your divorce. But do you have any advice for my friend? 1 kid, a daughter, getting divorced by Friday. And it's just, it's a hard deal for her.
When you hear those wedding bells, you think it's going to last forever. And there's no reason to not think that, right? That's weddings are one of the great optimistic moments in life. But half, in reality, are going to end in divorce. So it's obviously something we all know about. You don't wish it upon anybody, but it happens to you, your friends, somebody like that. Now, if you have a friend who's waiting on her divorce to become finalized by the weekend, I'm sure the rest of your friends are going to offer up a whole ton of advice.
Well, I have one friend that wants to throw her a party. I feel like it's a little insensitive, It's like, let's celebrate a failure because my friend is not... This is not easy for her. This is not her decision. It was his. And so we all think that maybe there is a little something going on the side because all of a sudden he's just like wants a divorce and they have a daughter. And so she's very, very upset about the idea of her daughter having to pack up every weekend.
Yeah. There's a lot of moving parts in a divorce.
Yeah, there is.
Just got a text that says, I highly recommend Divorce Care support group to Kat's friend.
Okay.
I went through the program. It was extremely helpful. They also have support for kids.
I'd love for you to call in 1479 and tell us what they helped you work through. Like, what was your biggest hump that you had to get over? Terry just simply said, take your new man to Vegas. Terry, I feel like that worked for you.
People, yeah, I think some people that works out. Danielle had an interesting text, too. She said 2 things you should do. Number 1, delete your Facebook and Instagram.
Yep.
And then number 2, go to church.
Don't delete your social media because, if he does end up getting with someone, you want to creep on them and see what your child is hanging out with.
That's unhealthy.
No, it's not.
I think it's unhealthy to care what other people are doing with their lives.
You don't have to care, but you have to be in the know. Like as a mom, I would want to go through. I would want to
go
see.
Meet that person. You have to creep on their Facebook.
Do both. You can do both. You just don't have to stalk them.
That's the problem.
Do some recon.
If you get divorced, you're probably looking at your ex's pages all the time, wondering what they're up to. That's wasting your life away. That's something you can't control.
That's something you'd have to control. But I think it's okay to do a little recon on their new boo.
Really?
But yeah, 8833. Love your kids more than you hate your ex. I say that all the time because I have a loved one that sadly is co-parenting with someone that did not get that memo. And it's really hard to watch. It's like, get the memo.
Hey, good morning. I know we probably don't want to use your name, but you were the one that texted in about the divorce care group, right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, and can you tell us what it was for you? Like, was it kind of like an AA meeting, or was it a little bit more intimate? What was it like?
I would say it was a little bit different, although I've never been to AA. It's
just from what I see on TV.
They have a program with a book, and they have a separate program for the children. So when you're there going through the different sections of the book, the children also have their own separate program, which I thought was just great because you can bring your child or children with you.
Yeah.
And they're kind of having something that they're working on. But what I found, I guess, the most helpful about it is just that I think a lot of people going through divorce feel shame or a sense of failure. And whether, it's your fault or not, which, of course, in divorce, that's, I think, a very common feeling is that you're embarrassed. You didn't want this. Even people who divorce for valid reasons don't necessarily really want that. It's not something to celebrate for most people.
Right.
It's, a time that's really difficult and challenging. So talking to others and the program, like I said, there's a book and, you work through that and you don't have to go every single, session. But I believe it's been a long time, but I believe it was like maybe 12 weeks, roughly. It is Christian-based, but they don't really make that a piece that is key. So you don't have to necessarily have a background or a religious sort of affiliation.
I love to involve the kids. They're probably going through it worse than you. Their whole world just exploded.
Even if it's not worse, it's different.
It's
completely different.
It is
to
different.
be a kid.
Right.
You have all these questions that I'm sure go unanswered because you're dealing with what you're dealing with.
You know what I heard is Ted Nugent, I feel, did it right with his wife. They divorced and the kids got the house. And they got their own one-bedroom apartments.
I don't think it's financially feasible for most people to do that.
It might not be, but I mean, if it is, I think that's great. You keep things normal at their house and then mom comes home and then dad comes home.
How long ago did you go through this program?
Oh, gosh, it was 2005, so it was some time ago. If you Google it, there's a whole list of cities. And so I'm sure if you click on the city closest to you, then it will tell you what church, or I think it's usually run through a church, but I can't say
You're so great.
all the details about it.
Look at you doing stuff for other people. Thank you. We appreciate it. Are you feeling good now? Like life is back on track? You feeling like you're in a better spot?
Well, I've got an amazing new husband, so yes, I'm in a very good spot.
Nice. I feel like you did this with your shoulder when you said that. Amazing new husband. We're so happy for you. Thank you for taking time to call us about this. Yeah. Talk to you later.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Divorce care.
Divorce care.
Divorce care support group. All right. Again.
But remember that, what 8833 and what I say, love your kids more than you hate your ex. If you wanted to talk smack about your ex to your kids today, check yourself. Go into your car, scream it, whatever you have to do. Those kids don't have to hear about it.
And listen, they don't want to hear you go on and on and on. Make it consolidated. If you're going to slam your ex in front of your kids, make it brief and quick and use colorful words.
The Playhouse Podcast is made possible thanks to Bradshaw and Bryan Law Offices. Catch the live show weekdays from 5:30 to 9 on 104.7 KCLD. Now, share this with a friend.